Now, I'm just going to put this out there. I don't know everything. I'll gladly admit that I do not know everything. I know my fair share. I mean, I've been around for a while. I can get my way around a motorcycle. I know plenty of other motorcycles. So, I mean, like, a general knowledge on motorcycles. I'm not an expert. I'm not a mechanic. So I can't tell you the ins and outs of motorcycles as well as some other people can. But what I don't do is read off shit as fact. Like when manufacturers post quote-unquote numbers. Like your base horsepowers or power at the crank or power at the wheel. I don't read that shit off. It's a number that is, for the most part, fabricated. And if you actually look at the differences between, like, let's say the magazines on who their sponsors are and who pays them for their reviews, like Cycle World or, you know, a couple of the other magazines and stuff like that, you'll notice that they are biased. They always will be. Why? Because they're fucking paid. They get paid to be biased. It sucks, but it's true. They get paid to be biased. Let's see if I can do this without giving you guys my fucking PIN number. I love the 3 separate handles. That way I'm not getting like a gallon of whatever through that whenever I press 93 octane of the shit 87 that somebody else already put into it. So I always look for 3 separate handles. It's always better. IMO. Yeah, I just verbally texted you. So yeah, when you look at these companies that are doing reviews, they're usually sponsored. And their reviews are therefore going to be biased. Like when they do the motorcycle shootouts and stuff like that, they're usually a biased review. Yes, I do agree with some of their reviews that some bikes are better than others and stuff like that, but I mean, that's personal. That's a personal preference. I can't take my personal outlook on it as a fact. I can portray that outlook to you and let you know that it's my opinion. I don't want my receipt. You can cut it back up. So why am I talking about this? Well, when somebody comes to my channel or somebody else's channel or whatever, and they're purely stating an opinion about a motorcycle, and somebody says, well, this one's better because it has a higher base horsepower. Well, that number is fabricated and or flawed. It's not realistic. Show me realistic. What is that number based off of? Is that based off of elevation? Is that based off of, you know, humidity? Like what was the weather like when that number was produced? You see what I'm saying? I mean, like when you say like a brand new ZX-10 is dumping like 200 horsepower, yeah, not to the wheel, for one, and maybe to the crank. All it is a number, and it's a number on paper that you have not most likely personally verified. And then when somebody says, yeah, I've got 190 wheel or 187 wheel horsepower to the wheel on a dyno, yeah, okay. You're just showing me a dyno. A dyno can be falsified to give you whatever fucking numbers you want just with the way the dyno's tuned. All dynos are going to read differently. Am I saying that a 200 wheel horsepower bike is unreachable? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is like a factory spec bike that is claiming 200 wheel horsepower from the showroom floor is most likely fucking false. Especially to the wheel. The mechanics of the loss of horsepower between the crank and the fucking wheel is significant when it's not a direct relation. Like if you had a shaft driven bike, you're still going to have a difference between a crank to the wheel for horsepower. Why? Because there's distance in between there. Regardless, you're not going to have the same numbers that a magazine or the even the factories are going to claim higher numbers for people that don't understand how they get those numbers. Start shitting off that stuff at the mouth. Thanks for not killing me. So what I don't like is when somebody takes the information that a factory or a magazine or whatever writes as a fact and then shits it out on a video when it is irrelevant because it's not actual numbers. My bike's actual numbers is at about, from what I remember, is at like 146, 149 area, and that's actual. That's actual to the wheel. Could I have a higher horsepower? Yeah, if I went to a different dyno and the dyno wasn't, you know, dialed in, or the dyno read differently. I could have different numbers. I could have higher numbers. But what I have right now is 149 at best. I definitely ran that red light. I wasn't fucking trying to wait for that dickhead to get the fuck out of the way. So where am I going with this? Before you spit out shit as fact, do a little bit of research. Don't go off of what Cycle World says. Or, I don't know why I keep using them, but I can't think of any fucking thing else. Superbike magazine, or any of these other magazines, or even the dealerships like Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda. I'm using the big four as an example because they're the ones that are in the big four battles of your 1000cc superbikes usually. So when these guys actually claim 180 horsepower, you can't use that as a fighting stance in a conversation if you don't even have the bike, for one, and for two, you haven't even gotten it on a dyno and proved it yourself. I don't like when you come to a fucking debate and you're coming with shit numbers that aren't yours. Well, this turned into a rant. Fuck.